We actually had a pretty good practice today. Uh, and I first got to say that the weather was much better today than it's been in the last couple of weeks, more so. But the practice went pretty well. We worked on third down, 1st and 10, and moving the football and uh, a lot of situation football today. And we had a good practice. I cannot even think of one situation that I said it was bad. We actually had a pretty good practice today.
Coach Ford, always a pleasure. And just wanted to get your assessment on how the game went, what went well, and what you think needs improvement.
Well, we are so inconsistent. Uh, I should say I called a screenplay, and we normally run it to the right, and I flipped it because it would have been in the short side of the field. Although in the NFL and the XFL, you're only talking about 6 yards difference. But in the process that I flipped it to the left, one of the receivers, he's looking at his wristband when the ball is snapped. So the defender ran straight through. It wasn't a good pass, but the receiver still should have caught it, but it would have been a dead play. And I say it would have been a dead play because the ball was snapped a certain time, and the young man was paying attention to the wristband, and we have ran that particular play 4 times this year, and we have averaged anything from 17 to 20 to 15 yards, 17. I'm sorry, to 12 yards a pop on it. And if we just executed that particular play, it could easily went to the house. The worst it would be was 25, but that is a pretty good illustration on the way we have performed this year so far. We hit and miss. When we hit, we look like a football team, but we have missed so many times. And I am so disappointed in one aspect of the football game. And heaven only knows the coaching staff has really worked hard and still is working hard to try to revive that, is that we are a football team that have in 4 games have had little over 47 penalties. And a middle school, I mean, I could go to a middle school in Florida, in Texas, or in Atlanta, and I would not incur 40-some penalties in 4 games. Your chances of winning a football game, and forgive me in saying this because I'm a little country, is as good as a Chiquita banana in a gorilla cage. You have no chance, and you can work as hard as you want to work. You could have the greatest game plan, but until the Guardians become disciplined football players, we are going to come short every weekend.
Coach, you mentioned consistency, and a lot of what I've heard so far from Coach Buckley as well has been about consistency. One of the notes that we can take away from this past week was Paxton Lynch's footwork. There would be flashes of greatness where he would set in the pocket and throw, and then there were points where he would drop back and throw off balance. And this was noted on the ESPN broadcast as well. So what are the things that you're working with him this week to try to get him to set his feet consistently and make those good throws when he needs to?
Well, you giving me too much credit. I only talk to the young man. I really don't train him, but we have spent a lot of time trying to speed up his footwork. He's a guy, and I might be wrong in quoting his height. He's 6'5" plus, very athletic in some ways, but he has a big arm. And because he has a big arm, I won't say he's lazy with his feet, but he doesn't move his feet because he thinks I can stand back there and hold the ball late and throw the ball. But that has cost us. And what I mean cost us, the game at this level and the game that's played on Sunday, the quarterback has to take his drops and pull that trigger. I told the quarterbacks, not this week, but a few weeks ago, that when I was at Miami Dolphins, we'll be on 7-on-7. And Marino will have 2 defensive ends, one on the left and one on the right side. when the ball was snapped and he caught it, they just rushed. They couldn't get there. Couldn't even get there. It was a waste of time. And that's how quick you have to be. And again, this is not a negative statement. I'm not throwing him underneath the bus, but that is something that he needs to work on to improve, or if he wants an opportunity to play at the next level, he's going to have to improve his feet work, and he's definitely going to have to improve his release.
Coach, let me go ahead and ask you this real quick, because we saw it broken out in successful fashion for the first time with the double pass here by the Roughnecks. Do you feel like that's something, now that it's worked here and everybody's seen it, do you feel like that's something you're going to see a lot more? Not just, I'm not asking for your playbook, but just throughout the league. Do you feel like that's something we're going to see a lot more of?
Yes, and it was really very cute the way they did it. And when he was running and he started running back here, I started screaming, not necessarily screaming. I said, oh my goodness, they getting ready to run a halfback pass. I've never seen it ran that way, but it was very well executed. I mean, very well executed. And they were very successful. We have 3 of them, and we have yet to throw them. And some of that's my fault. I'm one of these guys, if I'm going to throw a halfback pass, I would like to be around the plus 30-yard line and in that area. I don't think it's good if it's the 50-yard line or the 40-yard line, especially the way 2 of them that we run them, because one of them we throw it to the tight end and one of them we throw it to the quarterback. And if you're going to throw it to the quarterback, you need to be a little bit closer. And we just have not been in that particular area for me to call it at that particular time. Usually when we're in that area, we have a tendency to score, but we are so very inconsistent. I mean, I don't know what our yardage was, 300 and something yards and everything. And you think when you go over 320, 330, you're a pretty good offensive output. But our output is pick up 30 and go back 15, pick up 20 and go back 10. So we picking up the yardage, but then we'll give it right back. So we just stay in that status quo. And it has got me frustrated. I won't say mad, because I understand what is occurring. And and again, this is not a negative statement, but this, I think, is a correlation to it. Okay. T-Buck was talking about, I told T-Buck when he was with the New England Patriots and they won the Super Bowl, I said, I did some research on the New England Patriots up to about 2 years ago. Well, the teams when New England Patriots were winning Super Bowls, every one of their players had a college degree. And as a result, he was talking about the versatility, and they changing defenses and offenses, every game plan. Well, when you have young men that are self-motivated, and not necessarily smart, but self-motivated, you can do that. I have no idea how many guys we have a college degree. Let's say 15, but let's say we have more than 15. Well, the ones that we have, and again, this is not a negative statement, this is my observation, that they are very cavalier and lazy about their mental toughness. Football is about discipline, and especially on offense. See, defense, 3 guys can break down, but somebody can chase the ball and make a tackle. On offense, if 11 guys are not doing their assignment as well as they can, you're going to have a negative play. And please don't let 2 guys do something bad. I mean, now you talking about, I am paddling upstream and I'm paddling as fast as I can. I am not going anyplace. And being the OC, it's my fault. I'll be the first one to take blame, because I say, crap, it's up to me to get you in the right position, for me to get you in the right position so you can be successful and the offensive unit possession. But in saying that, they also have to make a little commitment themselves. And I'm not saying they don't play hard. We play hard. But our motto is talking about play, be fearless, play fast, and play smart. Well, we forgot the smart issue. And right now it's just kicking us in the butt, and it's making us like it. And until we understand that, I mean, just like this morning, I tell you, we had a good workout, but I'm standing on the sideline. I'm standing on the sideline looking at our alignment. And we're going through 3 segments, okay? in those 3 segments, I had to blow the whistle 5 times because of our alignment. And that's you just kidding yourself. And that's my assessment.
Hey, Coach, I kind of got a 2-part question for you.
Okay.
So first one is, usually as an OC, you want to have a good synergy with your quarterback, especially because he needs to see what you're seeing as far as calling, when you're executing the plays you're calling. Do you feel the switching of quarterbacks kind of affects that synergy that you have with the quarterback that's playing for you at the moment?
Yes, especially with our two-headed quarterbacks, because their athletic skills are completely different. And as a result, I have to call 2 different game plans. And it makes it a little rough because you have to change gears in midstream. And the funny thing about it, half the time I am not prepared for that. I mean, T-Buck will walk right past when we get ready to go on the field. I want number 3 in. Oh my goodness, okay. So I'm getting on the run like right now. But to answer your question, the way we prepare to do that, come Monday and Tuesday evenings, we have both quarterbacks, all 3 of our quarterbacks come in, and they sit down while we're doing the game plan. And I'm showing them, this is what we want to run, everything. Do you like this, or what would you like to be put in, or what would you like to be thrown out? And we go through that process. Our scripts to help the football team, the offensive units, the scripts that we make, okay? I draw every pass or every run, I draw it every night. And they get it in the evening. So they already know what's going to happen as practice, and they have an opportunity to study it, plus the film work. So in my mind, we should not have a legitimate excuse to have any mentals. And the only thing that we need to work on is our technique and showing some discipline as a football player. And if we do that, the results that everybody's looking for, as far as for the Guardians to be, we will be seeing it. But yet I have been unsuccessful in moving the ball forward with the discipline thing. The only thing that I have not done is take them all behind the barn and hit them side of the head with a baseball bat. And I'm not too certain that would have happened. And it's so that's where we're at right now. And guess what? I got 2 ears. I'm really listening for any suggestions about how to turn around this discipline problem, because it is, and it's somewhat embarrassing. We ran a play on offense, and I don't know what happened. And the defensive player from Houston was standing right by the bench, and he makes a statement like this: I don't know why you take up. He wasn't talking to me. He was just talking to the player. You so undisciplined. It's embarrassing. And it felt like a knife stuck in my daggum heart, because it's obviously that the defense is. I would say the defense at Houston was saying, if you hang in there and be consistent, don't worry, they have enough discipline that they'll self-destruct. And I'm almost convinced that's the game plan on almost every defense that we're going to see going forward. Is say, hey, let's keep it sound. Let's do not allow them to get the big play. And because of their lack of discipline, they will self-destruct someplace. And that's what I see on the film. Although you do not see the film between the 2 quarterbacks, and I'm not being negative, is that we should have thrown 4 more touchdowns. I'm talking about standing in the pocket and pulling the trigger and going down the road. And I'm sad to say we didn't. But if I was a Monday afternoon coach, I said, my goodness, how many yardage and how many touchdowns that we left on that particular field, in spite of how poor we play, is almost laughable. And I might be patting my ego. Look, I could have taken a high school quarterback, and they would have responded with that. So we have to get better. for us to be successful. And I need to do a better job to get them to focus on what we see. And I mean, we got it down to almost, okay, you know, if it's cover 2, this is where you throw it. Cover 3, and the receivers are even numbered. Only thing that you have to do is pull the trigger. And some of that's confidence, you know, and some of that is that I don't trust, whether it's the receiver or the system or myself, to pull the trigger and expect them to be in the right place at the right time. But that's what the XFL, the CFL, and the NFL is all about. And you know, it's our job to develop the players so they can get to that spot. But in the process of development, we would like to win a game or two. You don't, you know, it gets, you know, I am 5'6" or whatever I am. I don't need to be 5'3" because I got all these knots out of my head. I would like that somebody else have these knots out of their head. And I would like them to have the turnover problems and the discipline problems. But they don't. I mean, our football team will have 13 penalties and 2 turnovers. And the other team will have 2 penalties and no turnovers. You're getting ready to be on the short end of the stick. And that is almost a 100% fact.
Time for a couple more here, guys.
So
Gotcha. I just want to follow up real quick before.
go ahead.
So do you feel that's affecting you at times in situations? Say because of a penalty, you get the 3rd and 15. You feel you need to be conservative and say, okay, you know what? Let's just draw a screen and get out of this, get field position on the punt, as opposed to being aggressive going down the field.
Exactly. You hit me round the head. So I'm so predictable. It's ridiculous. I say, you know, some guys might say, you know, coward, you're throwing in the flag. But I'm saying, okay, I have seen this picture before. And the end of this picture was not in our favor. So it's no need me compounding the situation about trying to be risque. And, you know, maybe I'm wrong with that. Maybe you say, well, crap, you don't have nothing to lose, you're in 4. But, you know, it's the beginning of the football game, and we might be down 10-0, or we might be up 6-0. I'm not going to risk that because our mental psyche probably not too big on good anyway. That you know, although might not be saying it, but something bad happened, somebody in the back of their head has said, oh, here we go again. I hope that's not the case, but I do know that happens. Because again, this is my opinion, that's the difference between the winning programs and the losing programs. And the losers, they find a way to beat themselves. And the winners, they just consistent. They don't, you know, everybody's looking for the spectacular play and this and flashy. The name of the game is just being consistent and make the play when it occurs. But to be consistent, you first don't beat yourself. You say, okay, let's play a sound football game as solid as we can. And if we do, we'll find that at the end of the game, with 3 minutes left in the game, we either going to be up by 3 points or they're going to be up by 2 points. It ain't going to be, they're going to be up by 7. And it's going to be that close. Then you say, kiss it. Let's forget about being cautious. Let's go get them. We got it in 3 minutes left in the game. Let's throw everything at them right now. But we have yet to get ourselves in that particular situation. Came close in Arizona against Arlington. We came close. But as soon as we came close, we had a penalty. As soon as we came close, we had a call that should have went our way, but it didn't. And as a result, we came up short. But that's the only game that we came close in doing that. In spite of, we still had 13 penalties.
So to that point, I'm sorry. To that point, does this team have any hope at all at this point going forward?
Yes. I gave you the gloom and the doom stuff, but every day, in spite of it, we look better as a football team at practice. But we are so inexperienced and so young that we don't have the gumption to take what we do at practice to the game. And I'm not certain, I'm not going to blame it on youth. Their Roy used to say, if a dog would bite you, he would bite you as a pup. And that's true. We just haven't got that. And it's not a negative thing, and the head man, he harps on it. Hey fellas, let's go play the way we practiced today. Because we did good today. We just have yet to carry that. And I don't know, because I'm not smart enough to figure out if the guys are afraid or cautious of being on the big stage. I can say anything, but I do not have that answer why they have not brought what we see at practice to the game. No, we two different entities. I mean, if you came to watch our practice, you say, my goodness, this looked like a football team. And then we go to get out there on the football field, we look like who struck John. So we need to work on that.
All right, got time for one more. I think coach has got to get to a meeting.
Yeah, and Charleston, we had him just a few minutes early. He wants the ball. So is there any, I mean, I know what you're saying. Is there any possibility that you kind of put that in the back shelf and just say, you know what, let's just go for it?
Well, most of our guys are fairly skilled, and I would be disappointed if no receiver didn't really want the football. And heaven only knows we tried to. Our system, we have some plays that we can designate to get the ball to this certain person, but most of our passes are reads that take quarterbacks to the open guy. And we can manipulate it a little bit. Now, don't get me wrong. If we throwing you a football 6 times and you putting 3 of them in the end zone, we're gonna manipulate that game plan that day to get the ball to you, whatever. But right now, the only one that stands out like that is number 11. Now, number 18 in the first Houston game looked like that. But those have been the only 2 that really have stood up consistently. They say, fellas, I think we need to get the ball to them today because they are playing above, not necessarily above their head, but they playing pretty good football.
All right, guys. Thank you very much, Coach Ford. Thank you as always.
Oh, please, anytime. I enjoy talking to you. You guys make my
Hey,
day.
Coach.
Although one of these
We
days,
appreciate
we're going to win a football game. Then we're going to really have a good conversation.
There you go.
Hold you to that.
Got it right.
Best wishes to you.
Thank you. Take care of yourself.
You
Bye,
be
y'all.
safe. Take care.
All right. Bye.